In 2008, Marvel Studios took the biggest gamble in movie history. A contract worth $500,000 sat on the table. A bet that would either save a career or sink a franchise. The actor they were betting on? A former addict who couldn't even get insured to act. This is the story of how Robert Downey Jr. went from rock bottom to becoming the highest paid actor in Hollywood history.
I am Iron Man. I held the false notion that I could operate on two tracks and run them both at the same time and neither would suffer.
Manhattan, 1970. While other kids dreamed of becoming movie stars, 5-year-old Robert was already living it. His father, underground filmmaker Robert Downey Sr., had turned their Greenwich Village apartment into a constant film set. But between the experimental movies and artistic chaos, a darker script was already being written. At just 6 years old, his father handed him his first joint. Life wasn't just unconventional, it was a masterclass in extremes. One day they'd be scraping by in near poverty, the next living large off his father's latest film success. His playground wasn't a backyard. It was movie sets, editing rooms, and late-night parties where Hollywood's underground elite gathered. The talent was undeniable. In 1985, Downey stole scenes as a high school bully in Weird Science. The following year, he showcased his comedic brilliance opposite Rodney Dangerfield in Back to School. But it was his haunting portrayal of a drug-addicted rich kid in 1987's Less Than Zero that hinted at the depths beneath the charm. Through the late 80s, Downey's star kept rising with lead roles in films like the romantic comedy Chances Are in 1989 and the action comedy Air America in 1990 opposite Mel Gibson. In the satirical Soap Dish in 1991, he held his own against an all-star cast including Sally Field, Kevin Kline, and Whoopi Goldberg. Then came Chaplin in 1992. At just 27, Downey transformed himself completely. For months, he studied Charlie Chaplin's every movement. He learned to play tennis left-handed. He convinced the Museum of Moving Image to let him try on one of Chaplin's original suits. It fit perfectly. In his pocket, he found one of Chaplin's cigars, a treasure he's kept ever since. The performance earned him his first Oscar nomination. Hollywood's next great actor had arrived. But success has a way of amplifying our demons. In Less Than Zero, he portrayed Julian, a rich kid lost to addiction. That role, Downey would later admit, was like the ghost of Christmas future. Then things changed, and I became an exaggeration of the character. Life began imitating art in the cruelest way possible. The descent was gradual, then sudden. Sets became places to score rather than perform. Directors noticed, producers worried. In 1995, on Home for the Holidays, Jodie Foster saw the signs. She pulled him aside. "You're doing great, and I know you're loaded. I'm worried about you. Not on this one, because we're almost done, but I'm worried about you for the next movie." 1 year later, those worries proved prophetic. The headlines told the story. Speeding down Sunset Boulevard, caught with substances in an unloaded .357 Magnum. Hollywood's golden boy was tarnishing fast. But this wasn't rock bottom. Not yet. Breaking into a neighbor's house, passing out in their child's bed, failed rehab attempts. By 1999, he stood before a judge, no longer the charming actor, but a man at the end of his rope. It's like having a shotgun in my mouth, and I've got my finger on the trigger. And I like the taste of gunmetal. 3 years in state prison. Hollywood's promising prince was now inmate P50522, cleaning kitchen pans for 8 cents an hour. Every major studio blacklisted him. No insurance company would touch him. The same talent that had earned him an Oscar nomination couldn't even get him a bit part on TV. A stint on Ally McBeal showed promise. Even won him a Golden Globe.
And here are the nominees for Best Supporting Actor in a Series, Miniseries, or TV Movie. Robert Downey Jr., Ally McBeal.
But another setback led to him being fired. The show had to rewrite its ending without him. The industry's patience had run out. Enter two unlikely saviors. First, Mel Gibson, who remembered the brilliant young actor from their Air America days. When no insurance company would back Downey for The Singing Detective in 2003, Gibson put up the bond himself. But it was the second savior who would truly change everything. Susan Levin was different, a producer who saw past the addiction to the man beneath. Their meeting on Gothica wasn't love at first sight. She thought he was strange, eating oatmeal while others had Japanese food. But sometimes love comes disguised as salvation. Her ultimatum was simple: get clean or lose her forever. This time, something was different. This time, he chose life. 2005's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang marked the beginning of Downey's resurrection. His quick-witted turn as a petty thief-turned-actor reminded the world of his unique talent. He followed it with acclaimed performances in Good Night and Good Luck in 2005, A Scanner Darkly in 2006, and Zodiac in 2007. 2008. Marvel Studios is betting their entire future on a superhero movie. Not just any superhero, Iron Man, a genius billionaire with demons of his own. Director Jon Favreau sees something in Downey that everyone else misses. In Tony Stark's journey from self-destructive playboy to armored hero, he sees Robert Downey Jr.'s own path to redemption. The studio resists. Too risky, too unreliable, but Favreau insists on a screen test. Downey's prepared for this moment his entire life. "I just decided this was me," he'd later recall. "I'm in this situation like I just studied the text and thought of everything I could do better than anyone else. Nobody else on Earth had a chance." Walking into that room, Downey knew everything was on the line. Not just a role, his entire future. The moment he began, something magical happened. It wasn't really an audition anymore, one executive remembered. He was Tony Stark. Favreau later said it simply, "If we didn't cast him, that would have been the biggest risk. The $500,000 gamble pays off beyond anyone's wildest dreams." Iron Man explodes at the box office, grossing $585.7 million worldwide. Critics rave, audiences cheer, but this was just the beginning. Riding high, Downey dazzles again in 2008's Tropic Thunder, earning him an Oscar nomination for his daring turn as a method actor in blackface. A year later, he brings the legendary detective to life in Guy Ritchie's Sherlock Holmes. The film grossed $525 million worldwide, becoming the 8th highest-grossing film of 2009. Downey won the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy. The film was also nominated for 2 Academy Awards. A sequel, Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows, was released in 2011 and grossed over $543 million worldwide. For Iron Man 2 in 2010, Downey's salary leaps to $10 million as the sequel rakes in $623.9 million. Then comes the game changer in 2012, The Avengers. Downey earns $50 million as the Marvel team-up shatters records with $1.5 billion globally. Through Iron Man 3, Avengers Age of Ultron, Captain America Civil War, and beyond, Downey becomes the cornerstone of the biggest franchise in cinema history. His performances help build the Marvel Cinematic Universe's signature blend of humor, heart, and spectacle. Even outside the MCU, Downey continues to shine. The Judge in 2014 earns him acclaim for his restrained portrayal of a prodigal son returning home. Chef in 2014 allows him to flex his comedic muscles once more. But the biggest numbers are still to come. Downey scores $75 million each for Avengers Infinity War, $2.05 billion, and Endgame, $2.8 billion, cementing his legacy as Tony Stark. But it isn't just about the money. Downey becomes the cornerstone of the most successful franchise in cinema history. His films gross over $14 billion worldwide. From 2013 to 2015, Forbes names him Hollywood's highest-paid actor 3 years running. His magnetic chemistry with co-stars like Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, and Scarlett Johansson helps define the MCU's signature blend of action, humor, and heart. As the Avengers press tours circle the globe, Downey and his castmates ascend to a new level of celebrity. Their interviews and appearances rack up millions of views overnight. Fans around the world hang on their every quip and anecdote. Through it all, while other heroes come and go, Downey remains the MCU's unshakable core. Not everyone's convinced, though. Esteemed directors like Martin Scorsese dismisses the Marvel films, calling them not cinema, but theme park rides. Some critics wonder if comic book blockbusters have diminished Downey's craft. In 2023, he silences the doubters for good, winning his 2nd Oscar for Oppenheimer.
And the Oscar goes to Robert Downey Jr.
He takes a pay cut to work with Christopher Nolan out of love for cinema, proving his acting chops remain razor sharp. When Endgame tops the all-time box office in 2019, it's more than a dollars and cents victory. It's personal vindication. Tony Stark's sacrifice saves the universe. and Robert Downey Jr.'s soul-bearing performance cements his legacy. Now, it's 2025, and he's about to make history yet again. Marvel's unveiled plans for Avengers Doomsday in 2026 and Secret Wars in 2027, with Downey returning as the iconic villain Dr. Doom. Reports suggest he'll earn over $80 million per film, a new record for the man who shattered every ceiling in Hollywood. His films have grossed over $14 billion worldwide, making him one of the most successful actors of all time. From child actor to Hollywood outcast, from rock bottom to unimaginable heights, Robert Downey Jr.'s story is one of ultimate redemption. A prodigal son who had everything, lost it all, and built something even greater from the ruins. His journey reminds us that sometimes our greatest trials forge our greatest triumphs. If you enjoyed this incredible comeback story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos about Hollywood's most inspiring transformations. Drop a comment below with your favorite Robert Downey Jr. roles. We'll see you in the next video.